The thoughts, views, and comments expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production of Glory 93.9 FM.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Wardrobe provided by Bahari Bahamas. Visit shopbahari.com. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and it's truly a pleasure to be in your company today, because y'all know we've been missing for a little while, right? We've been missing in action. Been off the air for now, about 2 weeks or so, a little over 2 weeks. And so it's really good to be back. I hope you guys missed me, because I missed y'all. But that being said, I just want to say this, and I know Adrian sort of said it in his own way at the top of his show, and I'm going to do the same. Because, we both were, but I was bombarded with a bunch of queries and calls and WhatsApp messages and what's going on. And some people were even like, did something go wrong? And, they thought maybe something had gone wrong like it did at the other place. And I'm like, no, that's not it at all. We'll be back on soon. But here's the bottom line, guys. This isn't a hobby. I do enjoy it, but it's not a hobby. We got to make a living here, and we have commitments. And it amazed me how many persons, including business people, reached out to me and said, oh man, what's wrong? We need, I miss you from the air. One person, I literally said, do you really? Do you remember when I sent you that advertising proposal several weeks ago? Listen, y'all, this is a business. Running a radio station is a business. And the approach that we have taken as it relates to these shows is a business. And if you expect to enjoy the shows, if you like what we are presenting, if you feel that you're getting some value from this, and if you know anyone, or if you yourself are a business owner, our pricing is so ridiculously affordable, it's scary. I mean, we get it. I know that the economy is shot. People are going through. Businesses are hurting. People have lost their jobs. I get it. And this is why we have slashed our prices so low. But I will say this, that if you are a business owner and you want to get the word out that you're still alive, yes, non-business owners can make a contribution, Carla Lynn Sweeting. So if you are a business owner and you want to let people know that you are still alive, because a lot of businesses didn't make it through this pandemic. But if you were blessed to still be here, you got to let people know that. And, because if you're a listener, you know that others are listening as well. Everywhere I go, it's just amazing how much of an audience we have attracted in such a short period of time. You know, we went on the air on here at Gloria in January of this year. So you're talking mid-January at that. So you're talking January, February, March, April, May. 5 months now, and we have garnered a really strong following. And so, people are listening. We know people are listening. We know this. So if you have a service or a business that you would like to advertise and let people know that you're here, then, we would appreciate the support. We have all manners of packages that you can take advantage of. You're going to see some new ones debuting on my show today, because what we've decided to start doing is we've created segment sponsorships where you can sponsor a segment of the show, and you're going to see several of them in this show for those sponsors that have come on board in that manner. And it's very affordable, y'all, very affordable. So if you have a business or service that you'd like to advertise, hit me up, 805-6430, 805-6430. Send me a WhatsApp message. Don't call, because I might be in the middle of a consultation with a client or something when you're calling. But send me a WhatsApp message, and I promise I'll get back to you as soon as I can to share with you these amazing rates. Because we can't go no lower than this. If we're going lower than this, then this a hobby. Our prices are that good because we get it. We understand what people are going through. So yeah, man, put your money where your mouth is. It's one thing to say, I support you, I support you, I support you. And then when I send you a rate sheet, crickets. That's so not cool. I get it, though. I understand that you guys are going through. We all are. And I just think that this is a great avenue, a great platform for you to get the word out that you are, in fact, still alive. So now that that is out of the way, let's get down to business. Before we went off there a couple of weeks ago, I had promised you guys that Wednesday I was going to do a show on a common ingredient that most of y'all are probably eating every day, cooking every day, consuming every day, that is actually making you more susceptible to COVID. And a lot of people were like, what? What is this? I say, you got to wait till next week. Well, next week didn't happen, as we all know. And now I'm here. And so I'm going to keep my promise. And that's what this show is going to be about today. I'm calling it Serial Killers. The foods that you are consuming that are making you more susceptible to COVID. That's what we're talking about today. And if you have any questions that you want to ask me, the telephone lines are 828-3543 is the number to call. 828-3543 is the number to call. And the number to text is 828-2543, 828-2543. Because, what I'm going to say on the show today, some of y'all ain't going to like me because it goes against what you want to continue to do. But it is what it is. We have to make some smarter choices if we ever intend to get over this COVID-19 hump. Speaking of which, I did a show. I don't know if Senna is watching. Senna Alinko is a host of a show that I was a panelist on this past Sunday. And the show was about how do we get over the COVID-19 hump, vaccines or healthier living. Well, y'all know what my position was. It was all about the healthier living. And he had this doctor on. And oh my God, I don't know if that man was opposing just for the sake of opposition or if he seriously was believing the things he was saying. This is a doctor who, in essence, was encouraging people to eat fried food. And his attitude was, well, my mother's been eating fried food and she's 90-something and they ain't doing nothing to her. And I say to myself, and this was a black man, African actually, living in the United States. And I said to myself, I see why we are dying as a people. Because here is a man who is supposed to be a proponent of good health. And he is putting out there that he don't see no problem with eating fried food because his mother 90 something, and she eat fried food all her life, and she's still alive. And I was like, wow. I mean, that was just one of the things that he said that I thought was absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. And I guess this is why Dr. Joel Wallach, whose protocols I am trained under as a certified holistic health coach, wrote a book called Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And he in this book he talks about all the things that doctors don't know as it relates to how nutrition affects your body. But one of the things that he talked about is how they have an unusually low death rate. In other words, they die very young for the most part. And his attitude is, if they can't keep themselves alive because of their lack of knowledge, what do you think about you? Dead Doctors Don't Lie is the name of the book. I highly recommend it. There's another really good book that he has written called Hell's Kitchen, which goes in line with what we're going to be talking about today. I highly recommend that you get a copy of that book as well. Because there's some things that we are eating every day, some of us, and we're not making the connection between how us eating those particular foods is making us, is weakening our immune system to the point that it's making us more susceptible to COVID. And that is exactly what is happening. And the main culprit of what we are going to be talking about today, the main serial killer, and I have to say that was actually a play on words, serial killer, because the main serial killer in this discussion is gluten. Gluten is one of the main things that is contributing to making us as a people more susceptible to COVID-19. Now, I know what some of y'all saying. Let me change this channel because this woman talking foolishness today. What that got to do with COVID-19? I don't see some of y'all rolling your eyes, right? Well, if you bear with me and you stick around long enough in this show, you will learn how eating gluten is making you more susceptible to becoming ill from COVID-19. Like and share this show. Get all your friends tuned in, because the information that's going to be shared today is vital for you to hear and understand. So I'm going to be playing several clips today, all of them from Dr. Joel Wallach, who is the author of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and also the author of Hell's Kitchen. And he is going to be breaking down for you the connection between societies, people, individuals, communities, etc., that consume a lot of gluten and the death rates in those particular countries and communities. And it's not a coincidence. And we're going to break that down for you today, for you to fully understand why that donut that you're eating or that slice of bread that you're eating is making you more susceptible to becoming ill from COVID-19. So we're going to go to the first clip. And in this first clip, what he does is he explains that the death rates of particular communities that have suffered terribly at the hands of COVID-19 really has nothing to do with their color, but it has more to do with their culture. Let's go to clip number 1, please.
Dr. Fauci is the head of this task force to deal with this. Here we are. We have one guy who gave us 2% of what he should have shared with us. He only gave us 2% of what he should have shared with us. Okay, wash your hands, distance yourself, and wear a mask. But he didn't say anything about taking care of your immune system and avoiding the bad stuff to injure your body and all this kind of stuff. Okay, was this just ignorance on this guy's part, or was this, purposeful? Who knows? We'll find out eventually, I'm sure. Well, let's go back to about a year ago. when Johns Hopkins came out and they said that for the incidence of 100,000 people infected, the incidence of 100,000 people infected in Asia, Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea, we got 12 dead. For an incidence in infection of 100,000 people in Europe with Italy, let's see here, Spain, Belgium, and the UK, we got 349 dead. There's a big difference between 12 dead and 349 dead. It's not a racial thing. It's a dietary thing, okay? When you're eating gluten all your life, wheat, barley, rye, and oats, your intestines die. You can't absorb nutrients even if you're supplementing. And so you can't make white blood cells and antibodies and platelets and red blood cells to go kill and eat viruses and bacteria and all that kind of stuff. Well, when you look at what's going on now in North America, including the United States, per 100,000 infections, let's look at it. The indigenous peoples are the hardest hit. Now I was kind of shocked at that. The indigenous peoples, Native Americans, Indian tribes, okay, were the hardest hit, and the Navajos are the hardest hit of the bunch. And for every 100,000 infections in the United States, when you look at things racially, the indigenous peoples had 168 dead. Blacks had 168 dead. Polynesians had 90 dead. Latinos, non-Mexican Latinos, had 99.7, essentially 100 dead. Let's see here. We have whites with 76 dead, and the Asians had 54 dead. So why is the Asians only 54 and everybody else is somewhere around 100 or higher? What's going on here? Well, just like the difference between the Asians and the Europeans, it's a dietary thing. It's not a racial thing. There's no gluten in rice and sweet potatoes. And so the people who eat like Asians, or the Asians who eat like Asians, they don't get the damage to their intestines. And Asians, when they live near the oceans, they eat a lot of seaweed and kelp and that kind of stuff. And so they're getting a lot of minerals from the ocean. Okay. Well, what's happening here in North America? Well, all of the indigenous peoples eat a bread called bannock. And this bread is whole wheat flour, and they've added some rye flour to it. They've been eating that for over 100 years. Okay, well, their intestines are dead. They're not the sort of peoples who supplement. And back when we had electricity, or before electricity, they were putting their wood ashes, which are minerals, into the gardens. They got minerals that way. But after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street, New York City, in the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, Thomas Edison and Jonathan Leaves pulled the switch in the first commercial electric generating plant. Within 20 years, there was no more wood ashes because everybody was using electricity. Well, in 2003, Dr. Milan and I came out with a CD, okay, called Hell's Kitchen. It went into the pandemic that was going on at that time, and that was 2003. 2005, we came out with a book by the same title, Hell's Kitchen, and went into all the things you need to do to protect yourself and support your immune system. Stay away from gluten. Eat rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables. You can have fish and poultry and red meat, but nothing fried. And then you want to take your nutrients so your bone marrows can make white blood cells and so forth to protect you.
Okay, so to recap, this is what gluten is found in. Wheat. So all wheat products, cream of wheat, white bread, brown bread, pasta, macaroni and cheese. You all know. Wheat, okay? All wheat products contain gluten. Barley. All barley products, including malts and beers and certain other alcoholic beverages that are made from hops. That's barley. Rye. One of my favorite breads used to be rye bread because I just love the flavor of it. But now I know I can't eat that. No rye. Oats. And that's the big one that people find shocking because you've been told all your life that eating oats is healthy, right? We grew up eating oatmeal and thinking that was comfort food and all this kind of stuff. And the problem is that oats is processed in facilities where other gluten, things with gluten are processed. And so it becomes cross-contaminated. Okay? So wheat, barley, rye, oats. As Dr. Peter Glidden would say, bad dog, no biscuit. This is where we find gluten. And you're going to learn more about it as we go throughout the show. But what happens when you eat gluten is it damages the villi in your gut. Now, what does that have to do with COVID? Well, the villi are responsible for absorbing nutrients. And when it does its job well, the nutrients help your body to create the white blood cells, which are so important in immune response. It helps to have healthy red blood cells. So when your villi are dead, as Dr. Wallach just described it, keep in mind that I've said on this show several times, keep in mind that up to almost 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So when you are eating gluten and it's damaging the villi to the point where, and you're gonna see one of the clips what it actually looks like when that thing is damaged, to the point where you can no longer absorb nutrients. So you could even be taking supplements and not absorbing anything because you've so damaged the villi, right? So you're not taking in any nutrients. You're not nutrifying your body. Your body can't produce white blood cells because it's not receiving the building blocks it needs to do so. And then COVID comes around. What do you think is going to happen? Now, I know some of y'all out there is saying, well, that's why we got the vaccine. Stay tuned, because you're going to learn in this show that the vaccine only works with a healthy immune system. So if your immune system cannot do what the vaccine is designed to trigger it to do, you're still going to have a problem. And if y'all don't get anything else from this show today, please understand that. Dr. Wallach is going to break it down beautifully for you. But first, we got to pay some bills. So let's go ahead and get some of our sponsors' ads in here. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to go into more details about this. And especially how if your immune system is compromised, how that affects the efficacy of the vaccine. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS, and it's so good to be back in your company today. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Ocean blue is the best in seafood, hey. Fresh out the water and affordable too, yeah. We got fish, conch, lobster, shrimp, everything you want. Ocean blue got it. Ocean blue, friendly and clean, best service you ever seen. Ocean blue is the best in seafood, hey. Fresh out the water and affordable too, hey. Ocean blue seafood, we are here for you. Ocean blue seafood, no one else will do. Ocean Blue Seafood, located on Bernard Road. Contact us at 393-2160.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Alive. Alive. Believe in best.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services, call 225-3267 702-7127 or 322-1317 for reservations.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466. And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. Today we're talking serial killers. Common foods that you are eating that are making you more susceptible to COVID-19 risk. It's all about your immune system, people. Don't let nobody fool you into thinking that you can just totally ignore your immune system and all you got to do is get this vaccine and then you're good to go. Yay, 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 rah, rah, rah. They're lying to you. For whatever reason, they're lying to you. And this is why I say that I find it very suspect and disingenuous when we hear our leaders constantly preaching the message of get the vaccine, get the vaccine, get the vaccine, while feeding people white flour, white sugar, corned beef, and all other manner of stuff that makes us ill. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that you are very interested in keeping your population alive when you're feeding them the very things that are killing them and making them more susceptible to COVID-19. Somebody sent me a photograph the other day. I'm not sure which territory this is taking place in, but somebody sent me a photograph of a McDonald's French fries box advertising the vaccine on it. And I was like, you cannot make this up because you contributing with all the bad stuff you feeding people. You contributing to the non-communicable disease pandemic we have going on around the world. Because that's the pandemic. You contribute to that, and then you can advertise the vaccine on the very vessel that you're using to destroy people's health. Anybody else see something wrong with this picture? Is it just me? Something wrong with this picture. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't on the one hand say that you're interested in people's health, but you're feeding them garbage and then telling them, just go take the vaccine. And speaking of which, I just have to say this, and I won't call the person's name, but I was very disturbed to hear this. I have a client that I'm working with right now, was going through obvious physical difficulty, physical symptoms, including her skin changing color. She goes to a doctor very concerned. One of the symptoms was anxiety. The doctor, who took a Hippocratic oath, is going to say to her, "This is all in your head. You just scared of COVID. All you need to do is go take the vaccine." I really became enraged when I heard that story. Because how can, so you're trying to tell me that you being anxious over COVID can change your skin color? And it never ceases to amaze me how these doctors would prefer for people to suffer and die because of their arrogance. Because that's all it is. Because they can't admit that they don't know what to do. So before they say, "I'm not sure how to handle this," they can tell you stupidness for you to go off and die. Oh, but before you die, take all these medications. I have some clients, when they send me the pictures of the medications, they on 12 different medications. And they still ain't getting no better. And I'm like, when are we going to stop the madness? Same thing applies to this vaccine. Whether or not you choose to take the vaccine, that's a personal choice. But don't let these people swing you into believing that you could continue to damage your immune system, continue to eat poorly, continue to not check for your health, and this vaccine is to save you from above. That's a lie from the pit of hell. And I really don't want to see my people get swing with that. It's not true. And I find it to be very disingenuous by the healthcare professionals when all they're trying to do is shove this vaccine down your throat, and they're saying nothing about what you need to do to strengthen your immune system, which the vaccine needs to work. What's wrong with this picture, people? What's really going on here? It really makes you wonder what's really going on. And so in this next clip that I'm going to play with Dr. Joel Wallach, he is talking about vaccine efficacy. In other words, in order for the vaccine to be effective, it has to work with your immune system. So what do you think is going to happen if your immune system ain't working because you have destroyed the villi in your gut? Let's go to clip number 2, please.
Let's look at Florida with about 22 million people versus Taiwan with 23 million people. And Florida has 1.5 million infections and 23,000 dead. And Taiwan has 800 infections and 7 dead. Boy, there's a difference. Okay. Let's look at Thailand and the UK. They both have 67 million people. The UK has 3 million infections and 80,000 dead. Thailand has 10,000 infections and 67 dead. One last comparison here. Let's go with Hong Kong and Arizona. They both have 7.5 million people. Hong Kong has 9,000 infections and 157 dead. And Arizona has 607,000 infections and 10,000 dead. Okay? And it's a dietary thing. If you've been eating gluten for all your life, okay, you're not going to have a predictable reaction to the vaccinations. Vaccinations don't kill bugs. Vaccinations alert your body to the bacterial, viral, and fungal DNA, RNA, and proteins. So when the bug attacks you, your body says, there's the bad guy, and attacks it. Okay? But if you have all this gluten going on, your intestines are dead. You can't absorb nutrients. You can't get the nutrients then to your bone marrow to make the white blood cells and the platelets and the red blood cells and the antibodies. The vaccination's not going to be of any help to you, okay, because you have to have all those pieces. So I urge you to do everything. Be responsible. Do all this stuff. Have a meeting with your family. Get a hold of the CD and the book Hell's Kitchen, and you can, get those. Go to drjwallach.com, www.drjwallach.com, and get a hold of the CD and the book Hell's Kitchen. and get the 90 essential nutrients, get all the gluten out of your house, and live like an Asian. Live on rice and sweet potatoes, and you'll add 25 to 50 healthful years to your life.
So did y'all understand what he just said? Did you understand what he just said? Let me break it down for y'all in case, some of y'all slow. I know none of my listeners slow, but just in case one of them slipping here who ain't a regular listener, who a little slow. Let me break this down what the man is saying. You've got this apparatus in your gut that is responsible for absorbing nutrients into your bloodstream, and the absorption of those nutrients is what helps your bone marrow to do its job. And, it's what helps with the production of white blood cells, which are the guys that go out and attack the bad guys. So clearly, even with a vaccine, you're going to need a very healthy bone marrow system. You're going to need a healthy gut so that your body can produce the antibodies, your body can produce the white blood cells it needs. So when the vaccine triggers it to do its job, then it's able to do its job. Right? Now, my argument is your immune system can do that if you're very healthy, even without the vaccine. But some of you say, okay, I need a vaccine. Okay, fine, you need the vaccine. So you need to understand, and what he was trying to explain is that if your system is damaged to the degree that you're not producing the white blood cells that you're supposed to produce to respond when exposed to the virus, which is all the vaccine does, it triggers your natural response. So if the vaccine tries to trigger your natural response, and your natural response can't respond because you have been eating cookies and bread and cake and oatmeal and cream of wheat and all kind of pasta, because you've been destroying the very apparatus that is responsible for absorbing nutrients. And the reason why that is important is because those nutrients are needed. I want you to imagine that the nutrients are building blocks. So you got to give your bone marrow the building blocks it needs to do its job. So if you're destroying the very thing that is responsible for absorbing the nutrients into your bloodstream to take them to the bone marrow to do what they're supposed to do, to help you to have a good response, what is the point of taking a vaccine? I need y'all to understand this, people, because there are a lot of people out there who really believe that all they have to do is take this vaccine and they can continue to eat poorly. They can continue to ignore their immune system. They can continue to make bad decisions as it relates to their health. But the vaccine is going to save me. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. If y'all buy that, I got one big sale going on the Paradise Island Bridge. Because if you buy that, you'll buy anything. I don't know, Cassava is fine, Dorinda. I don't know whether or not this is intentional or this is just incompetence. And I don't believe that they are that incompetent that they don't know better. And it really makes you wonder, why are they doing this? Why are you giving people in the food sustenance program white flour, white sugar, corned beef, when you know that these things contribute to ill health? Why? So on the one hand, you're feeding people things that helping to make them sick. And then on the other hand, you're saying, take this vaccine. And you ain't making no connection between the two. I don't know, again, if this is intentional or if this is just some serious incompetence. But I dare say I don't think it's incompetence. I think they know what they're doing. So the next question you have to ask yourself is, why are they doing this? Because they got to know what they're doing. I honestly believe they are well aware of exactly what they're doing. We like to say, a lot of people like to say, oh, thank God we have a doctor at the helm at this time of going through this COVID-19 pandemic. What's the use of him being a doctor if he don't know this? What's the point? He might as well be a plumber. And that's no disrespect to plumbers. The point I'm trying to make is, what is the use of him being a doctor if he is not going to explain to you and help you to understand that you need to take better care of yourself? And then not only that, but implement policies to ensure that when we give you some assistance with food, we're not giving you the very garbage that's helping to keep you sick. What's the point of being a doctor if you're not going to take those kinds of measures? What's the point? People, I implore you, please, please take this seriously. One of the things that bothers me is how when I talk to people about not eating gluten, they take it for a joke. Oh, Michelle, you always talking foolishness. Girl, eat a piece of this cake. Like it's a joke. Let me help you all understand. I think I did this example on the show before, but just in case y'all would have missed it, let me use an example of why you need to stop eating gluten. Even if you don't get it in terms of it making you more susceptible to die from COVID. But let me break this down for you. Let me make it simple. What would happen if you got a hammer and you hit yourself on the arm, this spot right here? Can you all see this? Okay, I hit myself. How are I doing this? I hit myself on my arm every day, right here. Every day. I hit myself right down the arm every single day. Just once. No, 3 times, because I say I eat gluten 3 times a day. So morning for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Bam, 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 every day. So after the first day, I might get a little ache on my arm. After the first week, my arm gonna have a little bruise. After the first month, that gone beyond a bruise now. I got a laceration on my arm. I got a bad damage. After a year, that arm about ready to fall off if it hasn't done so already. So imagine after 60 years, every day for 60 years, you hitting yourself with a hammer on your arm in the same spot. You get the picture? So this next clip will explain what I just tried to demonstrate, because we know that it's been shown that younger people have been having a better time at handling COVID than older people. And according to this clip, Dr. Wallach explains why. Because as I would have just demonstrated to you, if I have only been hitting myself in one spot on the arm for a week, I'm going to do a little damage, but my arm will survive it. But if I've been doing that for 65 years, quite frankly, I have no arm left to damage. And this is exactly what has been happening with our love affair with gluten. Because if you've been eating gluten for 65 years, it means that your villi is dead. That's gone. You have destroyed it. So when something comes along that presents a challenge for your immune system, what do you think is going to happen? Let's go to clip number 3, please.
They only did one piece. They only did 10% what they needed to do. It's not like this stuff is unknown. The 10% they did was distancing, wash your hands, use the hand sanitizer, use our colloidal silver. Let's see here. Also, you need to wear a mask, do all that stuff, and it will reduce the contact stuff. Okay. It'll reduce the possibility of contact, but that's it. It didn't do anything to help the patient. Now, they knew in the beginning that it was going to be a year and a half, 2 years, and it's going to be closer to 2.5 years before vaccines, the ultimate vaccine for this, is available. When 3-year-olds get COVID, they get they can't even call it a fever. Their temperature goes up 0.5 degree, so you can't even call it a fever. My temperature goes up 2 degrees when I exercise, right? So we're talking about they don't have really a fever. Their temperature goes up a little bit, 0.5 degree for 3 days. They get common cold-like symptoms for 3 days. They're not getting any special treatment or vaccinations. And after 3, 4, 5 days, it's over with. Done. They got their antibodies. Boy, they're good to go for the rest of their life from COVID. When a 63-year-old or 73-year-old or an 83-year-old gets COVID, they're in trouble. They get 103, 105 fever. They got to, either stay at home or go to an emergency, and they're on ventilators for a month or 2 or 3. They have terrible complications, some of which remain with them after they get out of the hospital, or they die. So what's the difference between a 3-year-old, a 63-year-old, a 73-year-old, and an 83-year-old? Well, a 3-year-old's only been eating gluten for 2.5 to 3 years. Everybody else has eaten gluten for the length of their life, 63 years, 73 years, 83 years. And their villi in their intestines have shrunk and gone. And so now, instead of looking like a shag rug, their intestines look like a plastic tube. They've lost 95% of their absorptive surface. Even if they can digest, they can't absorb anything because their intestines are dead. And they cannot make, when your villi are dead and you're eating gluten, you're not absorbing nutrients, even if you supplement, because you lost 95, 98% of your absorptive surface. And so you cannot make white blood cells like T lymphocytes, which go through the bloodstream to kill and eat the viruses. You cannot make antibodies from your stem cells in your bone marrow. Okay. You cannot make red blood cells or platelets. And so you have a lot of bleeding on your skin. And most people who die from COVID do not die from viral respiratory infections in their lungs. They die from hemorrhaging because they can't make platelets and red blood cells.
Y'all see the connection? Now you understand how serious this is? This is not a joke, and it's not a game. And you need to understand, those of you who are still saying, well, my grandparents grew up eating gluten and they ain't doing nothing yet, because the gluten what they was eating is a different gluten than what you eating, because the foods that they were eating back then were not genetically modified. These foods you eating are genetically modified. So you need to wisen up. I don't know if that's a word, wisen. Is that a word? Yeah? Okay. Get smart. Stop buying what these people telling y'all hook, line, and sinker because they got DR in front of their name, doctor this and doctor that. Because I tell you, I did a show this past Sunday, and I questioned the school where that doctor went to because he talked more stupidness on that show. I was like, this dude can't be serious. He actually did not know that even with the vaccine, you can still transmit the virus. He was like, no. Once you get the vaccine, that you can't contract it and you can't. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this man can't be serious. There's a doctor. And even the host is like, well, it's well known that is not. No. And he was adamant in his ignorance. So you got people putting all their trust in him, and he clearly don't have a clue. People, wake up. Stop allowing these people to sell your dreams. Stop making them common sense, man. Common sense. Read. Do your research. I mean, it amazes me that in an era where information is so easily accessible, the more accessible it is, it seems the less people are seeking knowledge. It right there at your fingertips, but you ain't got the time to go look. That's scary. But you got people who really believe that as long as they take this vaccine, they good. You could keep eating foolishness. You could still not check for your immune system, but I'm good because I took the vaccine. Listen, that thing only works with a functioning immune system. You heard Dr. Wallach. Vaccines don't kill bugs. All they do is trigger your body to respond to the bugs. So if your body ain't functioning, if your villi is dead, if you can't create the white blood cells, the platelets, etc., if your body can't manufacture that because you've destroyed the apparatus that's responsible for giving it the building blocks to do so, what in the world is that vaccine going to do for you? I need somebody to explain it to me. Because maybe I slow. Maybe I just don't get it. But if your immune system is not working, what is the vaccine going to do for you? And I'm very concerned that I'm not hearing anything from our healthcare professionals with regard to that. So my thing is, for whatever reasons, if you decide the vaccine is the way out, okay. So when I come to get my vaccine, you should sit me down right then and there and say, you just got this vaccine, but now you really need to start taking better care of your immune system because your immune system has to work for this to work. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. Wonderful. What if you find the organic gluten-free oats?
I have seen it on the marketplace. I've never tried it. There's
Bob Mills.
I use Bob Mills products, and they do have a lot of gluten-free products. Maybe it is gluten-free, but like I said, the problem with gluten and on oats is that the fact that most companies they process them on facilities that also process stuff with gluten, and it becomes contaminated. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if Bob Mills has a gluten-free oats, organic, you could probably try that. I trust that company. I buy their gluten-free flour. And so, they're known to be very, very, very good at gluten-free stuff. But the fact is that in other companies that aren't focusing on that, they process the oats in the same facility that they process the wheat, and it becomes cross-contaminated. Now, I've heard Dr. Wallach say that even gluten-free oats you can't trust, but I guess one way to tell is if you try it and you still react to it, then But I would think that's a better choice than the regular oats.
Yeah, see, another thing too, Michelle, with even the regular wheat flour, they spray it with Roundup.
Yes, wheat.
And that's what a lot of people do. That Roundup is.
You're absolutely right. Yeah,
it's dangerous.
It causes cancer. It causes cancer.
Yeah, it does. It does. And like you said, if you get the vaccine, you don't change your eating habits, you're still eating all the red meat, the milk, and the sodium nitrite products and all of that. What's the difference? And like you said, and what Mr. Minna said the other day, that was really, take the vaccine. That's the immune. That's what's going to cure. That you wouldn't get it if you take it. Come on, man.
And he knows better. If he don't know better, he need to go turn in his doctor robe. He need to go turn in that white robe.
That's right.
Knows better.
And with the Pfizer now, with the children taking, they're the one came and say, now we got to watch this with the children now. Give them, I just don't get it. I just hope that our folks here, like you said, if you get it, but if you still have a weak immune system, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference.
Yes.
And so I'll have to hook up with you because with your products, I know Eli Wallach, their doctors don't lie. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, amazing tapes.
Yeah, Dr. Wallach, listen, it is his protocols on which we have been trained in the Institute of Holistic Health to become certified health coaches. And when I tell you the miraculous things that I have seen happen with my clients, simply through nutrition. I have one client right now. She is an elderly woman and was unable to walk because she needed, according to the doctor, she needed hip replacement. And I said to her family, don't put your mother under the knife. I know we can help her body to regenerate what it needs for her to be able to walk again, right? The only reason why she wasn't able to get that surgery is because of COVID and they stopped all elective surgery. So I said, listen, in the months that y'all are waiting to get her this surgery, give me 90 days with her. Let me start working with her. When we started working with her, she wasn't able to walk. Her daughter sent me a photograph the other day of her mother walking, albeit with with the assistance of a walker, but she couldn't do that before. This is after only 60 days. So when they argue, oh, Michelle, what you're saying, who has time for that? We don't have time for that. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We've been dealing with this pandemic for over a year.
Thank you.
So don't come to me, but we ain't got time to get people healthy.
Yeah. And see, none of the doctors, nobody, Darrell Regis, none of them are talking about the immune system. Not a one.
And I find that very disingenuous, very suspect, because they know better.
Yeah, they know better.
They know better. So why are we not hearing that?
Yeah.
Very suspect.
Anyhow, thanks, Michelle. So we catch up later.
All right. Thanks so much for calling.
Okay. Yes.
All right, guys, we got to take another break. Make way for our sponsors' messages. And then on the other side of the break, let's see what we're going to talk about on the other side of the break. What is my next clip? I'm gonna break it down for you. What happens when you have a gluten intolerance? All right. So stay with us. This is GPS on Glory 93.9 FM.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Bahamas Orthodontic Center, celebrating 30 years of designing and creating beautiful smiles. Looking for an extraordinary junior high school with caring, qualified staff and affordable tuition? Then come visit us at Elite School of Excellence, an affiliate of First Step Academy. ABECA-focused and Ministry of Education approved, we foster discipline, integrity, and wisdom while molding our students for success. Call us at 341-8846 or stop by First Step Academy Schools on Fire Trail and Soldy Roads for more information.
At the Shirley Street Plaza, you'll find Le Petit Gourmet, a small cafe that's big on flavor. Handcrafted delights made with love will not only please your palate, but feed your soul. Call us at 394-1251. 8 to 12 minutes is all it takes for a burglar to rob your home or business. Security Systems International provides professional and affordable solutions for both. Call 396-5000 for your customized quote. Gwen's Alterations provides professional services for all your tailoring needs, including face masks to keep you safe and in style. A stitch in time saves 9. So call us today at 393-6227.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Escape from the city life to Bacon Air Beach Resort in Pirateswell, Mayaguana. Relax in one of 16 air-conditioned rooms just steps away from the ocean. Enjoy scrumptious dishes in our waterfront dining room. Sip on a tropical cocktail, or if you must, stay connected with wireless internet. Nestled on one of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, Bacon Air Beach Resort offers a unique vacation experience. For reservations, call 339-3726 or 463-0182.
Located on Carmichael Road, Divine Designs Hair Boutique is a haven for women and men looking for professional beauty services. Our state-of-the-art and contemporary equipment creates a relaxing ambiance for you to enjoy while we cater to you. Need a hairstylist? We cater to all types and textures of hair for care and styling. We even have a barber on duty. Need a nail tech? Our technicians provide a range of nail services, including the latest trends. Unwind in one of our massage chairs while you get your pedicure. With our reasonable rates, friendly staff, and over 20 years of experience, you will be in great hands. Call us at 823-1669 or 698-1025 to schedule your appointment. Wanna be pampered? Wanna be slayed? Let Divine Designs make your day.
The freshest wave of glory to hit the Bahamas. This is the all-new Glory 93.9 FM, where God is glorified and the people of God edified.
All right, so before we continue on, let me read a couple of your comments. This one is from Stacy Smith. Stacy says, "You've been to Dubai, eh?" Look refreshed and ready to go, Lady Malcolm. No, not to Dubai. Right here in Nassau. But thank you so much. Bertha says, and saying they care about us. Suck my teeth, girl, but they ain't serious. That's why I don't trust these doctors. Well, again, every time I will say it, I'm not disparaging doctors because they do have a role to play. Very good at trauma care, very good at surgery when necessary, very good at a handful of infectious diseases. But if you have a chronic condition going on, or as we've seen with this pandemic, yeah, you're taking the wrong dog to the hunt if you're going with them, because they clearly clueless. All right. Siobhan says, "Michelle, I really admire how you handled yourself the other day on that live show. You were correct. I too have done my research, and I must admit, if our people don't read and wake up, this whole pandemic will be our downfall." Child, and I think, y'all could call me conspiracy theorist as much as you want, but I really think that they know that you ain't going to do your research. That's what they banking on. All right, let's go to another comment. This one is from Joycelyn. Joycelyn says, "Some doctors are just in it for the money, not keeping you healthy." Siobhan says, "It's concerning to me that all these scientists and doctors are pushing this vaccine. What happened to rebuilding of a healthy immune system? It's all suspicious, to say the least." Bertha again. Bertha says, "I have friends trying to convince me to take the vaccine they came up with in one weekend." Oh, man. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay. How do you repair your gut ecosystem is a question that Cheryl is asking. Cheryl, we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that right within this show. So if you haven't already done so, like and share the show. Make sure that all of your friends know that GPS is back on the air and that we're talking about a topic today that is very important to all of us. I'm calling the show Serial Killers, common foods that are making you more susceptible to succumbing to COVID-19. This isn't just for people with celiac disease, y'all, because that is another lie that they are putting out there. Oh, only people who have celiac disease need to worry about that. Other people can eat gluten. How about no? As Adrian would say. No, that's not true. Because there's a difference between celiac disease and gluten insensitivity, gluten intolerance. Either one are bad. So you don't want to be taking the chance. They say that there are 60% of Caucasians who cannot digest gluten. 80% of people of color cannot digest gluten. So you want to take that chance to see if you're in the 20 or you want to just avoid the thing that you know could be damaging your body. I think it just makes sense to avoid it altogether. And here's the thing I need y'all to understand. If you decide to go gluten-free, all you have to do in this day and age is swap brands. Instead of buying this flour, buy that flour. Because there's so many options available to you in the food store nowadays that are gluten-free that you don't have to miss a thing. I still enjoy all of the foods that I love. I just prepare them differently using different ingredients. So instead of regular white flour, I use a gluten-free flour to make my, matter of fact, when I go home today, I think I'm going to make me a zucchini banana bread using my gluten-free flour and my monk fruit as a sweetener instead of white sugar. And that is going to be absolutely delicious, and I'm going to be able to enjoy that guilt-free and pain-free simply because I switched brands. That's all you got to do, switch brands. And you may say, oh, Michelle, you know how expensive them things are. It does cost more than the stuff that's killing you, but you know, it ain't as expensive as having to be hospitalized. It ain't as expensive as having to be on insulin. It ain't as expensive as either you pay a little bit up front or you pay more later on. Your choice. But it does not make sense to continue to eat these foods that are damaging your body, and then you stand online to get your vaccine and think that could make a difference. No, the vaccine will only work with your functioning immune system. And your immune system is not functioning well if you have killed or continue to kill the villi in your gut. Get that through your heads, people. Carla says she's still looking for gluten-free cereal. Man, go right in the food store. I ain't going to the food store name because they don't sponsor this show. When they start sponsoring the show, Delton, then I'll start calling their name. I ain't getting them no free ad around here. But I buy mine in the food store, and I ain't gonna call the food store name. Okay? Yeah, they got gluten-free cereals out there, and they taste pretty good, actually. And I could eat that and not be bent over with pain at 3 o'clock in the morning because I've damaged my gut. My gut is doing so much better today. And I'm going to get to the question, Cheryl, about how to heal your ecosystem. We are going to talk about that, your gut ecosystem. We're definitely going to talk about that because I was able to successfully do that. And I feel so much better. I was at a function the other day with my MBO family. We all gathered together to watch the Miss Universe competition. And of course, they had some gluten items there, and I, declined them. And one of the things that I said to them was, at this point, for me, it's almost like there's a degree of fear as to why I won't go back to eating gluten. What do I mean by that? When I was eating gluten, I used to be waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning with pain in my abdomen. Literally. One morning it was so bad. 3 o'clock in the morning, I have this huge spice tree in my yard. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning from pain and say, I don't care who out there, I going out there. I went outside to go pick spice leaves to make a tea to try to give me some relief at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what gluten was doing to me. So at this point in my life, I scared to fool with that again because I remember what the pain was like. And I don't want to go back to that. So, no, I don't want none of your cake. Thanks, but no thanks. Because I want to take that chance of that. And let me tell you, I threw this challenge out before on this show. If you don't believe me, I want you to do the 21-day gluten-free challenge. For 21 days, eat absolutely no gluten. No wheat, no barley, no rye, no oats, no malts, no beer, nothing from gluten or barley or hops or anything like that. Go completely gluten-free for 21 days. And then on day 22, I want you to knock yourself out eating gluten. Go eat all the pasta you could find. Go make yourself a nice duff. Go eat a piece of macaroni and cheese. Just go crazy eating gluten. Oatmeal, cookies, the whole day. Eat nothing but gluten. Now, I have to warn you that you may end up in so much pain that you might turn yourself into the hospital. Your body will let you know, hello, this is not a good idea. And that alone will show you what that gluten is doing to your body. It is damaging your body, people. And it's not just say, well, it's damaging your little finger so I can live without this little finger. This thing is damaging the very apparatus that you need to fight COVID. Get that through your heads. This is not a game. Neither is it a joke. That thing is making you more susceptible to becoming ill from COVID, even if you take the vaccine. Because the vaccine only works when your immune system works. Do you understand that? I need you all to understand that, people. This is very important for you to understand. So, in this next clip, it's going to explain gluten intolerance. I want you all to understand what it is, and then we are going to spend some time talking about how to fix it. Okay? So, we haven't played clip 4 yet, right? Okay, so clip 4 is next. Let's go to clip number 4 to talk about what is gluten intolerance.
Well, I want to talk about gluten intolerance today. It was even on one of the network TVs. They had a whole big thing on gluten and all the movie stars and athletes who were affected by it. And right now, according to, actually it was 2009, according to Mayo Clinic, a big international clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, they said 30 out of 100, just about one-third of Americans are gluten intolerant. Now, we're talking about 115 million Americans, a huge market, 115 million Americans, and you're looking at 30 million baby boomers are gluten intolerant. And then when you look at certain cultural or ethnic groups, the Seventh-day Adventists are 80% gluten intolerant, the Mormons are 80% gluten intolerant, and the Amish are 80% gluten intolerant because they eat so much grain. Not only do you get from gluten intolerance, it's not an allergy to wheat. When you're gluten intolerant, you're actually sensitive, you're intolerant of wheat, barley, rye, and oat proteins, not in an allergic fashion. You don't get the same biochemical activities that happen when you have an allergy. It's kind of like more like a contact dermatitis when you roll around naked in a patch of poison ivy. You're not allergic to poison ivy, but you sure are going to be intolerant of it. Well, the same thing happens when you eat gluten from wheat, barley, rye, and oats, or drink it in beer, scotch, and bourbon, or any other alcohol drinks, or any drinks that are made from wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Your intestines are going to look like you've been eating poison ivy for salads. And so a lot of doctors will call this leaky gut syndrome. And a lot of people will get called celiac disease. It'll be called irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, appendicitis, diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, the most severe form, where they want to start amputating chunks of your intestine. They will take out your appendix, they'll take out your gallbladder because of belly pain. Colicky babies have the symptoms. And then secondarily to this, you can get any one of hundreds of diseases that are nutritional deficiency disease, because when your intestines change negatively like this, it reduces your ability to absorb things by as much as 80 to 90%. And you get all these diseases. You might have 25, 30, 40, 50 diseases, all caused by malabsorption of nutrients. Of course, the doctors say, well, you have an autoimmune disease, your body's attacking itself. You have a genetic disease, which is passed on from generation to generation. Of course, gluten intolerance is passed on through women, not through men. It's not a genetic thing. So men don't contribute to passing it on, but they can get it from their mother, either through cord blood or through breast milk. Same way with girls. But girls pass it on because they will expose the embryo to cord blood, of course, and then they expose the embryo or the newborn baby to breast milk. So in either case, they're going to initiate gluten intolerance in the embryo or the newborn baby. So this is something you have to be aware of. So some of the more common symptoms that people get or diseases they get when in the earliest stages of gluten intolerance, we're talking things like colicky babies. Take the baby off the breast milk and you put them on a formula. Hey, boy, they're happy because they're not getting the gluten through the mother's breast milk anymore. And then they start eating solid food again. Then they start getting belly pain. They don't want to go to school. And you think, oh, the kids, the teacher being bad to the kid. The kid's got belly pain. Mommy, I don't want to go to school. My belly hurts. The doctor takes her appendix out. They get a little older. They'll take their gallbladder out. Get a little older. They want to amputate chunks of their colon and their small bowels. And then you begin to gain weight because you're hungry all the time because you can't absorb minerals. And so you have pica and cribbing and the munchies because you're minerally deficient. And so you start eating more and more and more, and you can absorb sugar and calories, As a result, it's not unusual for people who have gluten intolerance to be overweight. It's not always, just like always people who are overweight don't get diabetes. Just because you have a gluten intolerance and a malabsorption problem doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get overweight or stay thin. So it could be 50-50. You may have some people in your family who are overweight and some who are very thin, and they all have gluten intolerance. Then asthma is a very common result of gluten intolerance because the large fatty particles, things like essential fatty acids and cholesterol that are necessary to make the prostaglandins to keep your bronchi open, these things cannot be absorbed, and you can't manufacture the prostaglandins properly without the omega-3s, 6s, and 9s, the proper ratios. As a result, you get a high rate of asthma in people who are maybe chronic bronchitis or chronic colds or susceptibility to pneumonia every winter, because during the wintertime you're eating more, waffles and pancakes and toast and oatmeal and that kind of stuff during the wintertime.
So y'all see the connection now? Marjorie says that is why so many people have to remove their gallbladders. Exactly. I learned through this clip that you could pass gluten intolerance through breast milk into your babies. I didn't know that. Like, wow. This thing is so serious, y'all. This is so serious. You know, I don't know what else it's going to take for people to understand that this is something that we really, really need to consider and take advantage of because we are contributing to the world's sick population at an alarmingly high rate. And we really need to understand that we have to take a look at this from another angle, because the angle of just taking pharmaceuticals to manage illness, that's not the answer, people. That's not the answer. We need to come at this from another angle. And it all goes back to that gut health. The gut is the epicenter. It's where many diseases begin. If you have an unhealthy gut, if you have a leaky gut, I wonder if I can share this on my screen. Let me see if I can do that, because sometimes I struggle with that. Let me try and share what I have up on my screen. Let me see if I can get that shared, so y'all could see how leaky gut affects your entire body. Let's see. Share screen. Share screen. Okay, I've done that. Now what? Okay, I just got to find there it is. Okay, share. Are y'all seeing it? No? Y'all know that I'm like technologically challenged, right? Why y'all ain't saying that? Oh, I see what it's telling me. I have to. It says StreamYard is sharing a window. So how come y'all ain't saying it? It's there. Okay, good. All right. So let's look at how leaky gut affects your entire body. So it's not just a matter of it affecting your stomach, because as you can see, this affects your entire body. So they have lots of studies now that show that there's a connection between what they call leaky gut and leaky brain, because they found now that when you have a damaged gut, it affects your brain. You have problems with memory issues or depression or anxiety or focus. You can't focus. So ADHD. A lot of kids right now are being medicated for ADHD when all their parents got to do is change their diet and their behavior will change. But it affects your brain. It affects your skin. So when you have a gluten intolerance, which leads to a leaky gut, you end up with things like acne or eczema or rosacea or psoriasis. It affects your thyroid. So you end up with overactive or underactive thyroid, Graves' disease. It affects your autoimmune system for sure. It affects your colon, constipation, diarrhea, or inflammatory bowel disease. It affects your joints, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, headaches. It affects your adrenals, fatigue. You're tired all the time. It affects your sinuses and your mouth, so you end up with frequent colds. Or every time the flu goes around, you picking it up, or food sensitivities. You're more susceptible to viruses that go around. All because of a leaky gut. All because you won't eat that piece of tart. Or you can't put down that cookie. So, you know, we got that saying in the Bahamas, if you like it, let it kill you. You liked it that much? That you're going to let it kill you? That don't make any sense. But this is what we are doing, killing ourselves by fork. Everybody's scared of COVID. Everybody wanted to take vaccine, and nobody wondering or nobody making the decision that at the same time, I better get myself healthier because the vaccine is being sold as the savior from above. I feel like John crying in the wilderness sometimes because I know there were days when he feel like nobody's listening. But I can keep crying in the wilderness. And hopefully, I will be able to help somebody. Because I'm very disturbed at what I see happening and the fact that they are not telling you what they know to be the truth as it relates to this COVID-19 situation. So remember now I said the truth has a new home. I'm going to tell you all the truth. What you do with it, that's on you. But the truth is, you need to have a healthy immune system, with or without the vaccine. If your immune system is not working, if your body is unable to produce the white blood cells and everything else it needs to ward off the virus, even with the vaccine, you're going to have a problem. And they know this. Because as Doc Wallach said in one of those clips, vaccines don't kill bugs. They just trigger your body to do so. So when they trigger and your body can't respond, what do you think will happen? Things that make you go, We're going to take our final break of the show, and then on the other side, we're going to answer that question about how do you repair your gut ecosystem. If you've been eating gluten for 40, 50, 60 years, and you hear this message and you say, oh my God, what am I going to do? There is hope. You can be repaired. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. And by BMP Liquidators, high-quality furniture and home goods at very reasonable prices.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Glory 93.9 FM, the people's favorite gospel station.
Best dress, hats off, looking like I walked out of catalog. Everybody wanna know where I got it from. Catwalk, 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 boutique, where we make fashion statements. Catwalk, boutique, where we make fashion statements.
For the latest styles in women's clothing and accessories, visit Catwalk Boutique on Robertson Road East at the Helron Plaza. At Catwalk Boutique, we make fashion statements.
And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Glory 93.9 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. I'm really enjoying the show today. You know, you just miss things when you don't realize you can miss it until you miss it. You know what I mean? So I missed being on the air, and it's good to be back. Again, I want you guys to make sure that you like and share the show, because the information that we're sharing today is something that could help yourself or a loved one to beat COVID, or to not, be susceptible to COVID or as susceptible to COVID, because you're eating something that you have no idea is impacting your body's ability to fight that thing off. So like and share the show. Make sure everybody knows that they have to watch this, even if they can't watch it now. Make sure they watch it later on, because we got to get this information out there. So it was Cheryl who asked, how do you repair your gut ecosystem? And Cheryl, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this last portion of the show. So I want you to understand this. When we are born, we're born with billions of villi, the little finger-looking things at the top of your tight junctions that are responsible for absorbing the nutrients. And typically speaking, babies don't eat solid food for their first, however long. So they're not damaging their villi right away, unless they're getting, gluten through their mother's milk, which makes some babies colicky, which I just learned through Dr. Wallach. But generally speaking, it's going to take a while before you start eating the solid stuff. And then eventually you're going to start eating the solid stuff. And chances are your parents, who just don't know any better, are going to start feeding you gluten. And you're going to start eating the gluten. And at the age of 1.5, 1, let's say, you're going to start damaging your villi. Now, you start out with billions, okay? But if every day, from the time you are a year old, you are eating stuff that's damaging that villi every day, then you're going to significantly decrease the number of the villi in your system. So imagine by the time you get to age 40 or 50 or 60 or 20, you've been eating gluten and destroying the villi for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. The longer you've been destroying it, the more dead your villi are. But y'all know this is a gospel station, right? Well, praise the Lord, you can resurrect it. You can heal your villi. It can be brought back to life. How do you do that? A couple of things. Number one, you stop hitting it with the hammer. You stop doing the ongoing damage, right? And number two, you have to actively take steps to heal the gut. So in this particular clip that we're going to play next, we're going to be talking, this clip talks about the causes of leaky gut, symptoms, and prevention. Let's go to the final clip of the day, clip number 5.
Our intestines are lined with barrier cells, called epithelial cells, that transport nutrients from food into our bloodstream. These epithelial cells have tight junctions between them to ensure that no undigested food particles, digestive waste, or toxins escape into our blood and create health complications. Healthy epithelial cells are supported by a balanced microbiome of good and bad bacteria, which is supported by a nutrient-rich intestinal environment. Stress, poor diet, lack of exercise, and use of antibiotics can disrupt our microbiome and intestinal environment. These disruptions can lead to weak epithelial cells and loose epithelial junctions. Without tight junctions, undigested food particles, digestive waste, and toxins can leak out of our intestines and into our bloodstream, causing inflammatory immune responses, various digestive disorders, and changes to the normal function of the digestive tract. This is often called leaky gut. So what can you do about it? A nutrient-rich intestinal environment helps support a healthy microbiome, which helps support strong epithelial cells and tight epithelial junctions. Therefore, an effective way to help prevent leaky gut is to maintain a healthy, nutrient-rich intestinal environment. This can be achieved with whole food and plant-based nutritional intake, good eating habits, and lifestyle management techniques like stress reduction and exercise.
So let's talk about it. When I found that video, I was like, wow, this is a great video because it really breaks it down very simply for you to see what is actually happening when you do things to damage your gut. So how do you damage your gut? Stress, ongoing long-term stress will definitely loosen up the tight junctions, as will certain food particles like gluten, oils, because oils cause inflammation in the body. That inflammation damages your gut. And so that too will lead to a loosening up of the tight junctions. Toxins that get into your system, like mold, for instance, will definitely wreak havoc on your gut and cause you to have major issues as far as that is concerned. Pathogens will also, like viruses, pathogens will also damage your gut. So how do you avoid that? Well, you heard the clip talk about the nutrient-rich environment. In my case, my gut was extremely damaged. A part of the reason was because I had been exposed long-term to toxic mold. I was living in toxic mold for 17 months. And during that time, my gut was in bad shape. OMG, it was bad. But I did not understand. Well, first of all, I didn't know I was being exposed to mold. And even if I had known, I did not understand the connection as to how that was damaging my gut. And I remember this one particular weekend. This is when I was living in Bimini and working at the resort there in Bimini. And one of the restaurants there had a pasta weekend where all of the dishes were these delicious. They had some good chefs in that place. Boy, them people could have cooked. They had a weekend of all pasta dishes, like this Italian pasta weekend. And I was like, to hell with this. I can enjoy this. And I went to town. Friday night, dinner. Some fabulous Italian sausage and pasta. And Saturday night, linguine and clams. And Sunday night, something else with gluten. By Sunday night, I was so ill. That thing do me right in. There's one particular symptom. I'm not going to say it on the radio because it's kind of gross. Right? When I saw that, I was like, what in the hell is going on with my body? Ignorance. Didn't know no better. Because my gut was being damaged by the mold, and then I go and have a full weekend of pasta. That thing do me right in. Right? When I finally became educated as to, number one, the impact that the toxin had on my system, and number two, the fact that I really could not eat the gluten. I was still eating it up until last year. I ain't gonna lie. I was still eating gluten up until last year, March. Right? Even though I knew better. And even though I knew that I was waking up in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning with pain. But every now and again, when I go around my family and my friends, and they eating duff, and they eating pizza and all these other things, I was like, man, I can eat and just pay for it later. And did I pay for it later? It wasn't until last year, March, first long lockdown, I decided, you know what? Why don't you really do this gluten-free thing and see how it impacts you? Because this is an opportunity for you to do it now. You ain't going to be, around any temptation with your family and friends. So this is an opportunity for you to do this. And so I got rid of all of the gluten out of my house, bought the gluten-free flour and gluten-free products. And then I purchased Longevity's microbiome that you've seen advertised on this show. And I started to take the microbiome every day, as well as not eat gluten. And prior to that, I had gained a ton of weight when I was exposed to the mold. Because one of the things that toxins does to your body is that as a protectionary mode against to make sure your organs are protected from the toxins, your body will literally create storage containers to store the toxin in, and we call those storage containers fat cells. So if you're being exposed to a toxin, you will not be able to stop putting on weight. And no matter what you do, you ain't gonna be able to lose that weight. Because that's just your body's way of trying to protect itself. So I had put on a ton of weight. And prior to going gluten-free, I was steadily losing the weight after I moved out of the moldy environment. I moved back to Nassau. I had joined the gym. Shout out to the folks at Gold's Gym. And Jay, who was my trainer. And I was steadily losing the weight. It was steadily coming off. And I had plateaued at about a size 10 when the lockdown happened. I was at about a size 10. Moving towards a size 8, but I was a size 10 comfortably. And then the lockdown came, and I decided, okay, let's really go gluten-free, cut out the gluten, heal your gut. So I started taking the microbiome, and I went gluten-free. Well, not only did the pain go away, not only did I start having more clarity, more focus, more energy, sleeping better, but all of a sudden, I noticed the weight started coming off. Now, keep in mind, gym is closed. I think for the first 2 weeks after that long lockdown, I was walking around the house a couple of times. After that, I said, well, I ain't going to do that today. I stopped exercising. Completely stopped. And I noticed the weight started coming off. So I said, hold on now. It's got anything to do with this microbiome stuff. So I go and I read the container. And it says, could contribute to weight loss. And I was like, wow. People, the weight literally melted away. No exercise. Exercise got me to about a size 10. And that's when the lockdown happened. And that's when I started with the gluten-free diet. And that's when I started taking the microbiome. And that's when I noticed the weight just started melting away. And I was like, what's going on here? I wasn't complaining, right? I was happy to see it. But I didn't realize that that was a side effect of healing your gut. The weight melted away. I am now in a size 6, leaning towards a 4. Because I'm noticing now my size 6 pants a little loose when I put them on. Right? I went to go see a friend the other day, and he's like, okay, Michelle, you need to stop losing weight now. I said, dude, I haven't ain't trying. I am not doing anything to lose weight. I'm not trying to lose weight. You want to know what I had for breakfast this morning? Because some people are the keto thing, and keto is great. You know, I'm not knocking keto. But I didn't do keto to lose weight. All I do is heal my gut. You know what I had for breakfast? I had nitrate and nitrite-free bacon, 1 egg, sunny side up, some sauteed greens, and gluten-free pancakes. That's what I had for breakfast, with maple syrup. No bloated stomach, no pain, no gastritis, fully energized, ready and roaring to go. Still enjoying the foods that I loved. Did the gluten-free flour I used to make those pancakes cost more than regular flour? Heck yes. Did the nitrate and nitrite-free beef bacon cost more than regular bacon? Heck yes. But I feel good. I ain't going through that pain no more. The weight is gone. I never thought I could see this size again on this side of eternity. I didn't think it was possible. Because you know what they tell you? Girl, when you get up in age now, you know it's harder to lose that weight. And, you know, you just have to accept it. You know, you ain't 20 no more. And, you know, and oh, Bahamians can be so unkind. When I had gained all that weight, listen, Bahamians are so unkind. Hey, Michelle, what's wrong with you? Why are you putting on all this weight? You know, on a good day, I'd be like, yeah, it happens. On a bad day, they would get it. I have this one guy one day. Miss Malcolm, what happened to you, man? Why are you putting on this weight? Why are you getting so big? I say, yeah, okay. Because I ain't got no mirror in my house. Thanks. I needed you to come tell me that today. Thanks. Like, I don't know why maybe people think that they have a right to tell you what you already know. You know, y'all need to stop that mess. But I never thought that I could see this size again on this side of eternity. I figure that could be my renewed body when I get in heaven. I didn't think it was possible on this side of eternity. Get back to this size. All because I healed my gut. Cut out that gluten. So to answer your question, the first thing you need to do is cut out the gluten. You got to stop doing the damage. I tell people all the time that there's no amount of nutrition that will outdo a poor diet. So even if you're taking quality supplements like longevity and you're still eating gluten, you're pouring gasoline onto a fire you're trying to put out. Ain't gonna go out because you're continually doing the damage to your body. So on the one hand, you take this nutrition to heal, and then right after that, you eat the gluten. How you expect to heal? You're not going to heal if you continuously eating the bad foods that are damaging your body. There's no amount of nutrition that can outdo a poor diet. So get that through your mind. You got to give up the bad foods. Wheat, barley, rye, oats. corn and soy because they are heavily genetically modified and sprayed with Roundup, which causes cancer. Oils, because they cause inflammation, and inflammation is bad news for the gut and the rest of your body. Okay? Cut them things out. No mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is nothing more than oil and eggs. How do I survive without mayonnaise? Easy. I use plain Greek yogurt to make my tuna fish. And once you season that up with your, listen, I love goat pepper, right? So I season up my tuna fish with my my Bahamian salt and my goat pepper and my lime. I don't even know I use Greek yogurt in that. You can't tell the difference because you don't season up your tuna. It tastes good, right? You ain't gonna be missing nothing. Potato salad, I use sour cream instead because it's creamier. So it gives us a nice creamy, as opposed to the yogurt. There are alternatives. Instead of oil, I cook my foods in butter. I don't do any air frying. I either oven fry, which means I just put it in the oven, very high heat. 45. If I'm making oven fried chicken, I would prepare it the same way I would have if I were going to fry it. I mix up some egg, maybe a little bit of coconut milk, seasoning, and then I dip my seasoned chicken into that, and then I shake it up with my gluten-free flour, and then I might double dip it in the egg again, and then another shake up with the flour. Throw that thing in the oven, 45 minutes, 450 degrees. Boom! Fried chicken. Tastes good. Crunchy and everything. No gluten. You can make changes where you can enjoy the foods that you love, but without doing damage to your body. So that's the first step. You got to stop doing the damage to your body, people. You got to cut out the gluten. You got to cut out. And if you're still asking why, watch the show again. So you can understand what that thing is doing to your system. It's making you more susceptible to COVID. If for no other reason, do it because of that. So that's the first step. You got to stop doing the damage. And then get some products in your body that will help the healing process. Longevity has two really great products. The one that I used was Microbiome. Microbiome has something in it called I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder. And you can also buy the I-26 powder separately from the Microbiome. Now, my mentors in the Institute tell me that that I-26 is where the real healing power is. But what I liked about Microbiome is it had enzymes and probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics. It had all of that in there. So ideally, if you could afford both, great. Depending on how damaged my client's gut is, I might put them on the I-26 first because the I-26 is very powerful to heal the gut, and then later on introduce them to the microbiome. Or I might just start them off with the microbiome. But you need support. You need nutritional support to heal the gut. Okay? Some people, if your gut is not that bad, you could just cut out the bad stuff and then the villi will start to come back. But some people need additional help, additional building blocks because they have so damaged their guts. That's the position that I was in. My gut was so damaged that I had to do extra stuff to get it back. But the good news is that a dead villi can be resurrected. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. It will grow back if you stop the ongoing damage and if you give it the building blocks it needs to do so. So in addition to the microbiome, you got to nutrify your body, 90 essential nutrients. You hear me talk about all the time, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids. This is what you need to be putting into your body every day. And then you need to actively heal your gut and just stop eating the bad stuff. Diane is saying that she has a month's supply of the microbiome supplement for sale if anybody's interested. She ordered it by mistake. So you guys can respond to her on Facebook. Diane Jones Harvey just put a comment there about her having an extra microbiome. So what we do as health coaches, we conduct a health evaluation. So we have you fill out a questionnaire, and that questionnaire gets you to answer questions about your symptoms. And then that's how we know whether or not you are suffering from a really damaged gut or a blood sugar imbalance or a bone and joint problem or a soft tissue problem. And then we just make recommendations based on your symptoms as to what your body needs to heal. And oftentimes when I come across somebody, especially somebody who's been exposed to mold, I can tell because their gut number is bad, and then so is everything else. Because remember, it all starts with the gut. So once your gut is damaged, it affects your whole body. So I see numbers that are pretty bad all around. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do, I see a couple of you asking me how to contact me for a consultation. Here's what I'll do. The consultation can only happen if you fill out the health evaluation. So what I will do after the show, sometime today, I will pin at the top of my Facebook page, where you're watching the show now, I will pin the link to the health evaluation to the top of the page. So go to the official Michelle Malcolm page, look for that pinned post that will have the link to the health evaluation. You click onto that link, you answer the questions, you press send or submit or whatever it says, and then the results will come to you and to me. And then once I receive your results, I contact you and send you a link to schedule a consultation. It's free, Varen. I don't charge for this. I do it for free. So the consultation will be free. Okay. I won't, you don't have to pay me to help you to get healthier because Longevity pays me if you decide to go with our recommendations. So, yeah, I'm going to put the link at the top of the page. Go there. Don't find my appointment link and then go schedule an appointment if you haven't filled out the evaluation, because the evaluation is the first step. Okay. And once you do that, then I will contact you and I will send you a link where you can schedule a consultation, and then we'll do a one-on-one consultation via Zoom, and I'll help you to turn your health around. And listen, one of these days I'm gonna do a show with some of my clients who are brave enough to come on to talk about how their health has been improved as a result of being on this program. I have seen some remarkable, miraculous healings, all through nutrition. I have one client, older gentleman, who was really in bad shape when we first met and has been on my program now for several months and looking so good and strong now. He said he went to visit his family in Florida, and when they came to pick him up from the airport, they look at him and they said, "Well, what happened to you?" They couldn't believe he was the same person because he was looking so much better and so much stronger and everything. So he said, yeah, y'all got to talk to my coach, my health coach, Michelle Malcolm. She's the one who responsible for getting me like this. And so now his family is reaching out to me saying, what did you do? How did you do this? I have seen miraculous healings as a result of people just simply giving their bodies the nutrition they need. But first and foremost, guys, you got to stop doing the damage to the gut. Please, people, stop at the gluten. It's not worth it. It is making you more susceptible to COVID-19. If for no other reason, do it for that. That's my time, guys. Remember now, if you have a business or a service and you like what you see here on GPS, your support would be greatly appreciated. The rates are extremely affordable. Either send me a message via WhatsApp at 805-6430, or you can message me on Facebook and I will get back to you, send you some rate sheets. And you guys got to support the show if you want it to stay on air. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a very inspirational show, especially for those of you who have been let go from your jobs. All y'all Atlantis workers, y'all need to tune in. Have a good one, everybody.
Glory 93.9 FM. The